everybody. Welcome to Friday. It is Friday, August 4th, 2023, and you are watching Kiwanis Connects, emanating live from the WWDBTV studios in the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Aaron Phillips, and of course, joining me, I'm going to screw it up because that's the way I am, right over here in her own little box, Governor Val herself. How are you, my friend?
Aloha. I am at top speed right now, and so my body is trying to catch up.
Well, it's a good thing. Excuse me. It's a good thing you're sitting so the body can catch up, because if you're still running, then who knows, right?
Yeah, I caught one of those summer things. Allergies are everywhere, and the bronchitis has kicked in big time. So, but I'm not letting it stop me because we've got so many fun things still yet to do in the next 58 days. I'm just like,
but who's counting? 58 days, but no, who's counting and keeping track?
Every day counts. Every single day from wake up to go to sleep. So
there you go. I bet the first thing you're going to do after, let's see, October 1st is take a long nap.
Yeah, probably. Right. Yeah. She's going to slow down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
Well, let me put it this way. Andy hopes you're going to take a nap and slow down. Let's put it that way. The first gent. How's that?
Yeah,
good morning, Herman.
My first mate is definitely thinking that. He's given me actually till October 15th because we're going to help our governor designate open a couple clubs in early October. And he's hoping that on October 15th, I will actually get on a plane and go hide for a week so that I can just regulate. Because each day has been like 15 hours a day. And I sped up when I realized that there are a couple promises that we made that we need to make sure we keep. So,
okay. All right. Well, there's time. We'll get it done. We always have faith. I want to welcome everybody and thank you all for watching, whether you're watching us on Facebook, if you're watching us on YouTube. Hey, if you're driving around town somewhere like on the East Coast, it's 9 a.m. here, but that means it's noontime back east. It is lunchtime. Please make sure you download the WWDBTV app to your Android. If you're running around with iPhones or an Apple product, it's WWDBTV LV to your iPhones. Hear the audio. Not only will you hear all the shows that are live at the moment, but of course, when there's no show, there is a plethora of music and sound bites and movie drops and commercials from yesteryear that will entertain you on the radio side 24/7. And soon, if I can ever coordinate this with John, you'll start hearing the show hosts actually doing their own shows on the radio side, playing all the music that we want to play.
Playing the DJ.
That's right.
How fun is that? John, can I do one of those shows?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I'm all over that. That sounds fabulous.
There you go. I'll go over with you next week what you need to do. That means I have to break out the cheesy FM voice, don't I? Welcome to WWDBTV FM. I'm Aaron Phillips coming to you live. Anyway,
on the other line.
702-992-3207 is our phone number. I do have a question I want to ask people to respond to, preferably via phone, however, chat room, whether on YouTube or here on Facebook. Those of you going to DCon next week, what are you looking forward to the most? I want to know what you're looking for. Is it the seminar? Is it the bike ride? Is it the golf games? Is it the House of Delegates? Is it leaving on Sunday? If it's leaving on Sunday, then we got a problem with convention. However, what are you most looking forward to? Meeting people? I know I have a long list of people that I want to meet that I can finally have an opportunity to meet in person after seeing them all in these chat rooms and following us. Good morning, Kathy. Appreciate you jumping in there. Also, too, if you missed the show and you don't want to watch it on Facebook or YouTube, just remember in about 72 hours from now, download the WWDBTV channel to your Roku. That's right. We're on Roku, not BreakU or anything like that. It's Roku. You can watch Kiwanis Connects, this show. And, of course, you also, once again, have a plethora of shows. A Brazilian, is that what we said last week? John, is that
Brazilian?
A Brazilian. Brazilian, right? Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah. A Brazilian amount of shows you can watch here on WWDB-TV, and more shows are coming starting next month. You'll have to, if you watched Aaron's Hour last week, you got an inside shot to see one of them. Anyway, with that, Kathy said, John Brummer says he's looking forward most to his own seminar. Okay. What is John doing? What kind of seminar are you doing, John? Let us know. Kathy Tran, promoting key leaders in Kiwanis Cal Neva Foundation. So that's also some good stuff there. So we got a lot going on.
But Kathy also said hugs, Val hugs.
What's that? Did I miss? Oh, Kathy. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
hugs from Val. Should be hugs. Oh, you doing a hugs from Val thing that I don't know about? Did I miss that on the agenda?
Every time I go and do a workshop, I always stand outside the room or in the room and get hugs. So when I was at International Convention the first time, I actually had 300 people stand in line to get a hug from me at the end of my presentation.
Wow.
Yep, hugs are my love language. And I
Right
know
on.
that John is doing something that's near and dear to my heart. He and I both share something it's very special that I have never really shared publicly. And he's going to be talking about stroke education. And one of the reasons why I decided that volunteering and giving was so important was because I suffered a mini stroke in one of my last jobs. And I realized that by the time it takes for you to get from the hospital to home to rest, they can replace you in your job. And that means that your job is not the central focus of your life, but what you give and what the service that you do is more important. So I'm also looking forward to John Brummer's stroke education class. And so it's going to be very special.
I like it. That sounds like a great seminar. I will be part of the social media seminar, working with Ann Wu. Is that right? Who's running that one?
Anna Wu. Yep.
I don't recall at the top of my head what time that seminar is, but again, you and I, by the way, it's a good time for a segue into programming note. Next Friday, guess what? We're going to still do a live show of Kiwanis Connects. Val and I, we're going to be hunkered down up there in Reno. But the programming note is not at our normal 9 a.m. We're going to go at 10 a.m. next week, 10 a.m. Pacific.
Is that next week?
That's next week. This way, with seminars and things that Val has to do and all that other good stuff, we're going to juggle a lot of stuff around. So 10 a.m. next week. And if you're there at the convention, we will set up chairs. If you have an opportunity for some audience, you want to sit down, and we encourage that, please stop by. I'd love to meet everybody. I know Herman I'm going to meet. I'm going to meet all these people that follow the show. I'm excited, John. And come on by. It'll be a great time as well. So that was a nice little segue for that. But I know one of the things that I want to talk about in the seminar with Anna is the fact that I know you and I are always asked, well, how can I find the show? I'm having trouble finding the show. How do I watch it again? And I know that's one of the things that I want to hopefully have an opportunity to share a couple of minutes and how they can find the shows once we're off the air, if nothing else.
Absolutely. And I think that really cues well into John showing the screen, because what we're talking about all day today, because I think it's so important that you know what you're getting yourself into. And if you haven't already registered, our DCON, our district convention, is next week. Oh my goodness. By this time, we will be into full sprint mode and with all the different seminars in the seminar grid. And we have over 540 people that have already registered for our district convention. Think about it. That's more people than we had at the Utah Salt Lake City International Convention. So John, can you cue up that beautiful screen? It's like, and so for those of you who don't already have it on your calendar, you can register in person. You might want to give Mark McDonald a call or an email to mark@cnhkiwanis.org. That's mark@cnhkiwanis.org to let him know that you want to buy meals and that you're going to register on site. But we will start bright and early on the 10th. And the 10th includes all of our board meetings in the education. On the 11th, we have a number of seminars that kick into place. And on the 12th, we have our House of Delegates. And for those of you who aren't leaving until midday on Sunday the 13th, we actually have the Rose Float Club event. And it's all at the Nugget Casino Resort. And there are still rooms available at the Nugget Casino Resort. I advise that you go online. There isn't a Kiwanis price, but and so that means you're going to have to pay the resort fee, which is $45, which Kiwanians didn't have to pay. But there still are rooms on site to be able to be there. And I know that I'm really looking forward to like Herm Platsky's presentation during our first general session, and it's going to be talking about the Kiwanis International Children's Fund. And so thanks, Herm. I'm so glad you're going to be there. And I know you've got a challenge, so I'm bringing my checkbook. So Absolutely.
And if memory serves, we need to collect a lot of toilet paper for the Kiwanis family house, if I'm not mistaken, from a previous show, right?
That's right.
Yes, that's right. And so one of the things that I was hoping that we would do, Aaron, today is let's look at the agenda. Let's do some highlights, right?
Okay.
And so when I look at the overall agenda that I've got, the seminars start there's an inspirational breakfast on Friday, August 11th. The inspirational breakfast goes from 7 a.m. to 7:50, and this is going to be an inspirational breakfast like you've never seen before. We have already 120 some people that have already said they're coming to this breakfast, and what we're going to talk about this year is the golden rule. In every faith and every set of spiritual guidance, there is a golden rule that we hold in common. And so that's where we're going to start. So there won't be any Bibles brought out and any oh my.
First donation of toilet paper.
First toilet paper donation.
I'm going to have a hard time explaining this getting on the plane. I don't know. We may box it up and ship it up.
All right, again. Thank you, John.
Take the plastic down a little bit so people can see. Is it ironic that it's called marathon toilet paper? I find some irony in that name, but
I find some big irony in that too. Oh my goodness. So we'll have an interfaith director from the University of Nevada, Reno, kind of walking through this. And Aaron, I'm hoping that you might step in and share some pieces from your faith. And I've got some other folks that are a local Native American tribe that they're going to talk a little bit about their faith in the Golden Rule. And then we have a very special speaker who is going to be talking about the use of faith and hope to bring you up from the very bottom of your life to the top. And that is his name is Michael Baldwin. Michael Baldwin was incarcerated for 3 years. And in his incarceration, he applied his faith, and that's what got him through. And he is now a very active Kiwanian and also working with youth in the North Modesto area. You can actually look him up. That's Michael Baldwin, and know that he's going to be giving us an inspirational talk that pulls all of the pieces together about applying the Golden Rule. And so I'm looking forward to having that breakfast with everybody and starting our fellowship off. And then our first general session kicks in. And so, Aaron, I know you're choked up because you got all that toilet paper.
I've been fighting this dry throat for the last couple of days, so I apologize. And the interfaith breakfast is on Sunday, correct, you said?
No, the interfaith breakfast is on Friday. We start with the interfaith breakfast.
Friday. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. And then we have all of our general session, and that's going to be a kickoff where we have a parade of flags that will bring everybody in, and all of our Kiwanis veterans will be our flag bearers, which makes me so excited because I think that if we honor those that have gone before us and those that have served for us, what a great way to kick it off. Sure. And we have a keynote speaker, and I know, Aaron, you love him. So you want to tell everybody a little bit about him so they get excited?
It's a great segue because he's going to be one of my guests tomorrow on Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips. 8-year-old young man, probably the youngest founder of a nonprofit organization ever in the world's history. Justin is Booma, right? I always forget.
Booma, yeah.
So he's going to be one of the keynote speakers. I'm anxious to hear what he's going to talk about. He will be on with me tomorrow from 12 to 1 as one of my guests to talk about. Check this out. Remember the old game, kiddos? Rock, paper, scissors? Mm-hmm. Did you ever think you can turn that into a fundraising opportunity? Well, Sunday, August 27th, Heroes and Hearts down at the Discovery Museum here in town, they are doing a rock, paper, scissors tournament. I will be emceeing that. I've never emceed and broadcasted rock, paper, scissors, so that should be interesting. $9 to participate in the funds there, Governor Vallon. I'm going to presume Justin's going to talk about this next week. His next goal, right, is to go to South Africa And so that's what these proceeds will be going for. I absolutely love Justin. He was in studio last week. I know you saw the commercial for the rock, paper, scissor event that he recorded. I'm anxious to see him again tomorrow. So I'll be on pins and needles listening to every word he's going to share. So don't miss Justin. If you do,
I hope we have his commercial. Do you have his commercial that we might be able to show during our break?
We'll see if we can pull it down in time.
Okay.
If not the first commercial break, perhaps the last one before you head out.
That would be a major highlight. That would be so cool.
But of course, John just grimaced, not knowing if we can get it set up in time.
Well, then they just need to come to the convention. So, John, don't stress out. And everybody, if you're listening to us on the podcast, you're not going to miss it because you'll be able to listen again tomorrow and find out about rock, paper, scissors. But that is one of the things Justin's going to talk about with us. He's also going to be talking about how to support these amazing little phenoms that want to do amazing service out there. And I can't think of a better way to kick off our day because right after our general session, when everybody gets to meet everybody and have a good time, we move right into our seminar grid. And most people have been giving me calls about this because one of the things that we started last year, it was my turn to do the education because as governor-elect, you get to do all of the education sessions that start. You don't do the general sessions, but you do the education. Right. And last year, I started a thing that was every seminar needs to have a different person leading it. So you won't go to Decon and only see 6 presenters in 36 sessions because that's the way it had always been. The same 6 people because they must be the best in the world. And so it was very surface. Right. And so we started off in our decon last year and both of our mid-years where if there's 36 sessions, you're going to see at least 36 different people. You may see their partners that are the same in a couple sessions because they're content experts, but you're not going to see the same thing. And you may miss out if you don't go to a seminar. Right. And Governor Designate Carroll has done the same thing this year. And if you look at that first set of seminars, I'm actually
Val, let me stop you there. We're going to leave that as a little tease because we're up against our first break. Okay. So we'll share that. We'll share some of that stuff when we come back. You are watching the best service show out there, Kiwanis Connects. We'll be right back. International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas and I can blend my talents with any audience.
For more information, please visit www.aaronzauer.vegas.
And book me for your next event or training needs.
All right, welcome back. The commercial for the commercial. It's Kiwanis Connects LV, right? LV, is that what it is? I don't even know my website anymore. Anyway, just message me. We'll get all that squared away. Diane Anthony, thank you very much for spearheading a commercial coming from one of your clubs. Looking forward to get that done. I know there's a couple other people. Time is not running out. You can have these done anytime you want to, but if you wanted to impact wrapping up this year strong, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to get a commercial done for your club or, fully customize or take the existing one and we can put your information simply on the tail end of it and start promoting your club. As we talked about, Val, about 2 months ago about branding, right?
Absolutely.
So this falls right in line with that. So KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com. Give me an email and we'll get through there. All right. Very well. All right. So let's talk about the grid seminars. Let's do it.
And so some of the highlights are that we're doing our second month of President's Roundtable and President's Council. And so all of the club presidents are invited to come stay and meet with me in the ballroom at 9:30, and we are going to be talking about a number of different things to boost your club over the next 2 months. And so that's one of the highlights that's there. And then one of the things that's being pointed out this year, because it's been asked for, is to separate out our service leadership programs. Excuse me. And so you'll actually get a chance to talk with our Circle K advisors and talk with Circle K members about what's going on in their areas during the first seminar. And Patty Ryder's leading that, but there are going to be over 20 Circle K club presidents present at this convention. And so you'll actually get a chance to work with them and figure out how you can work, have a good time. And they're going to actually host a mocktail celebration in their Circle K suite later that evening. So you can follow up with other questions. Another special conversation that we have a chance to pick up with is meeting with Jeff Ott and our international president, Bert West. And so they'll also be talking about K Kids. And I put a challenge out in the beginning of the year that I would love to see a new K Kids in every division that we have, because K Kids are the place where the energy is started. Do you remember, did you ever have a lemonade stand when you were a kid, Aaron?
Yeah, I think once maybe, but nothing regular, just let's give it a shot kind of thing. But lemonade stands, you don't sell them for a quarter anymore. I know that.
No, you don't. And now they're also doing lemonade stands, and they're doing root beer stands. And one of the kiddos that was in our district, I think he's up in Folsom, actually did a sign that said "Cold Beer Here." And when you got close enough, you saw cold root, and root was in a yellowish part, beer here.
Wow.
And he drew a bunch of people, and including someone who called in saying, "This kid is selling beer on the sidewalk." And the police came over to deal with this and discovered that it was root beer, and they actually bought enough root beer for everybody at the police station and the lady who called in complaining about this kid.
Wow.
That kid was one of our K Kids in that area. K Kids are the true beginning of entrepreneurialism. So.
Absolutely. And listen, as a guy who's all into branding and marketing, the idea of how he did it, I thought is terrific.
Yeah.
Just draw them in, and then you deal with the rest of it after that. So
absolutely.
He's marketing on that person's point. So.
Yeah. And so that, that excites me. And, and it's like, and so if that first half an hour, there's nothing there that is really, fitting your jam and what you want to do, you can actually go see my first mate. He's going to be talking about the Kiwanis investing in Circle K, but not about the actual fundraiser, because we're really at the end of our year on that. But he's going to be talking about how and who to work with on college campuses to get the most out of the college campuses. Because most of our clubs don't realize that they can partner with universities and double and triple the amount of resources that our college students have, including our Keys to College, which is Key Club visiting and going to see college campuses.
Not to mention energy.
Absolutely.
I mean, between Key Club and Circle K, actually all the youth programs, or the SLP programs as they're now called, if we could just bottle up their energy for about 5 minutes and turn around and sell it, man, the foundation could make a lot of money with that energy bottled up. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness. It's like, absolutely.
Especially when you ask them how they feel. They really like that very much.
I went to a rally with our Key Clubbers in Los Gatos, and when I asked them how they felt, it was like all of a sudden they went from being sleepy to erupting with energy, and it was just like, okay, if I woke up every morning and said, "How do I feel?" and did that cheer, if I didn't end up in the hospital in the emergency room, I would definitely be having a fabulous day. So.
Very true. It's just unfortunate, as we get older, that energy dissipates. but certainly being around the SLP programs will re-energize you in ways that you may not notice at the moment, like at convention.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a day later, a week later, you get home, you start thinking about plans with your programs. And all of a sudden you remember something about, maybe they answered, how do you feel in the middle of a session, whatever. And then all of a sudden it brings a smile to your face and you go, you know what? That revs me up. So it may not be immediate, could be, later on. Just be surprised when the energy comes up and just bites you and says, get going. So
absolutely. And if you're not used to, sponsoring a key club or the energy and understanding that, there is a session where you just get to talk with Kiwanis and Key Club. And all of a sudden, I'm sure they're going to probably teach all the adults in the room the cheer. So during the general session, I'm actually going to ask all the Kiwanians how they feel and get them going. So I figured, hey, why not? What are they going to do? Fire me at this point?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen watching, we call that a tease. So be prepared, okay?
Be prepared, absolutely.
I'll just let something out of the bag to be prepared. So.
And it's like, and we are lucky because we have Herm, who's here, and we also have Gary Jander, who are going to be talking about the different children's funds and the resources that are available to us and to our clubs. And so if you're bringing 4 or more members, you're doing that 100% club registration, you guys might want to spread out so that everybody goes to a different session, so that you gain some of that goodness and can take it back to your club and share, because there are 5 different sessions every half an hour.
That's a lot. It's a lot to see on paper, but you will not lose anybody's attention. You're not in there for an hour where after a while, you can always get up and leave a seminar. No presenter likes seeing that, but for 30 minutes and you're rotating through in 30 minutes, I love that schedule. But it also allows people that if a question is not answered to your liking in that 30-minute window, track down the presenter. Don't stalk them. Just track them down.
Track them down. Exactly.
Tracking
down is proactive. Stalking goes to jail.
Stalking bad.
Stalking bad. Tracking good.
Right. That's right. So listen, I don't want to. I'm not going to say this. I don't want to say this egotistically. It's not my point here. But obviously, with the success of the show that you and I have had, people are going to be, I hope, excited to see us do the show live on Friday. I hope a lot of people stop me to talk about the show, what they'd like to see, their excitement, whatever on your behalf, because you're going to be running around. The only time I know I'm going to be seeing you next to me is on the show and something else Thursday night that's going on. And I know you're running around, but I want people to stop and say, hey, Aaron, I have a question about the show, or I have this, or I have that. I think that's the best way to do it, that those seminars kick off the gathering, but the weekend you're with everybody, the seminars, so to speak, in the fellowship really should never stop.
Absolutely. And Kathy put something in the feed that I thought was so important, is that all of these presenters are part of basically the Kiwanis Speakers Bureau. After this, you can bring them in. You can bring them in for a club presentation. You can bring them in or invite them to come to one of your division council meetings, or if you have something special that you want to do to attract new members. Some of these people might be a great team to bring in and present. I've found the best way to grow a club is to show off the students' energy. So they're usually my keynote speaker when I do a club invite day.
Right.
And what we're also doing is one of my dream programs that I'm so excited Mike Akana is looking at in the morning session is talking about key leaders for adults. And Key Leader is something that's a weekend program. It's an overnight program. And outside of Kiwanis, there are several almost Key Leader-esque programs where adults pay $2,500 to actually spend some time and really focus in on their leadership skills and what they're doing. And we're in the process of developing a program where for Kiwanis, it'll be just like the Key Leader for students, not in cots, because most of our bodies don't fit well in little cots or sleeping bags. So we're working on that. And I'm hoping that everybody's going to come to the awards luncheon. I am so excited to be able to celebrate with past Governor Margot Dutton, because she's going to be giving away a ton of awards and acknowledgments, as will I, for all the great work that happened in the 21-22 year. And because we're always a year behind on some of those awards and being able to give out statues and trophies and stuff. I also have something special for you. And
For me?
so I'm glad you're going to be there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
John doesn't have anything to do with it, does he?
Unfortunately, not this time.
Okay. Phew. Then I know it'll be safe. Well, that's very nice of you to think of me of whatever you have in mind. I appreciate that.
Well, our district would not have grown this year without your support. This show has made a huge difference, and not just here in Calneva, but around the globe. And so I actually had someone from one of our African clubs in Uganda let me know that he saw my podcast. And I was like, oh, well, okay. I didn't want to correct him, but I'm like, that's really cool. And he says that just by listening to that, he had a better understanding about why Kiwanis is important in your local neighborhood and why sometimes clubs in the United States don't send money to Africa. And he says that spurred him on to think about how they can work with benefactors in their own countries.
Area. Yeah.
That was completely enlightening. Our show did that.
Well, I'm sitting here. No one can see it, but with my legs under the desk, I have goosebumps going up my body from my toes on up. When you and I talked about continuing the show that Christina von Lindenberg and I started last year, just about the division, we wanted to expand it to the district. One of the things that you and I talked about were two main focus points of the show. Number one, highlight the clubs, highlight what they're doing, the lieutenant governors, bring guests on. But number two, we were both adamant about education.
Yes.
And to hear that story, because if we go back over the year and look at the guests we've had on and the various topics that we've covered, whether, again, it's club or district level, or we had other governors on to be part of, we had international trustee candidates on, to the story about the expansion into Africa. And here we have a gentleman who followed and listened to the show. I think we've hit it out of the park on both counts. And I'm hoping that the Kiwanis Calneva area and any other districts that are out there, Val and I have kind of just briefly talked about continuing doing this upon her having, well, I want to say more time on the calendar. That never really happens, but continuing on after even her administration, because it is good stuff. New members have joined. They private messaged me saying, thank you for the show. Susan Wells, particularly down in Arizona, I'm anxious to meet her. She was a newbie to Kiwanis. So I think we've definitely hit a home run more times than I think you and I even thought would be possible with the education and information that we brought forth here on the show, making our goals really obtainable across the board. And I thank you for the opportunity to do this with you. And we're going to continue to help spread the word about Kiwanis, so we stop getting asked if we are an airline company out of Australia.
And my dream for next year is that we're going to be in all 50 districts.
Okay.
And so each week we'll highlight a different district and what is most important to them in the Kiwanis world.
Good.
And outside, we'll start with Calneva and talking with our new governor when she's in place.
Okay.
And then the next time round, we will actually be in the Southwest District, because last week I got a chance to be honored and be a part of the Southwest District convention. And there were several of their leaders that are so excited about doing commercials with us. They're so excited about what we do. And I got to tell you, they had amazing energy. I would love to, and I've been talked into it. So I am going to probably become a member of a club in the Southwest District, because I can't imagine not being a part of the magic that happens there.
Right. I want to just create also an open invitation. Any Kiwanian, whether from Calneva, outside of our Southern Nevada folks, because they're here, they can come in any time. But if you're visiting from out of town and you're a Kiwanian, please hit us up, because we'd love to have you on the show live here in studio if we can make it work on a Friday morning and talk about, your involvement, things like that. So, if you're coming in to visit, you need to make this show part of your must see, must do list when you're in town. I think that'll be great. So it'll be an open invitation to any Kiwani from around the world. When you're in town, hit us up. We'd love to bring you on the show live, and you can then take a nice little gift back home and show all your people you're on TV when we're here in Vegas.
Plus, they get to meet me.
Oh, and they get to meet JPEG back
That's
there.
the best part. That's the best part. Absolutely.
I better save some money and pay people to come in then. Anyway.
And so one of the workshops, I want to loop back because one of the workshops that we're going to be doing is also about the key leader camps that we do for basically high school level kids. Mm-hmm. And Kathy Tran put in there, and I would hope that you'll put that crawler back up, but she's asking us, and she'll be talking about the camp that happens in October, which happens at Camp Cedar Glen. And then November is Camp Jones Gulch, which is the one I always attend. But it's a peer-to-peer leadership training camp. And if you have high school students that aren't in Key Club, this is a perfect way to get them involved and be able to start to discover there. But I'm not going to spill all the beans on what's happening because Kathy's got a great presentation, so I don't want to step all over that. And so I'm looking through the schedule, and I know that we've got Kiwanis Jeopardy by our favorite John Crawford. So the afternoon on Friday afternoon looks like it's full of a lot of fun projects. So, after you have a really fabulous lunch, you usually get kind of tired and you don't want to be sitting there taking notes. And so they have filled it all grid with some really fun things, including a service project led by one of my favorite people, Richard Fuller. And so they'll have a service showcase and a couple of other things that are happening. And then I want to talk about Saturday.
Dun, dun, dun. Fanfare music.
And so we started their honors breakfast at 7:30. We got to start right. And so if you haven't already bought your ticket for the honors breakfast, they have a couple more available. But you might want to call in so that, because they only have 10 usually when you register on site, and those go fast. So call in and do that. But I think on Saturday is when your session is, isn't it, Aaron?
I believe it is.
Okay.
When I looked at the original schedule,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say 11 o'clock for some reason rings a bell for me, where I saw the word social media in a box on the grid. That may have changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited to be part of that with Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Probably anything and everything you'd ever want to know or didn't think you'd want to know about social media. John has a question.
No, it should be called social media out of the box and off the grid.
There you go.
I love it. So I think that can probably be updated. And so when I do the highlights, I'll do a shout out for you for social media out of the box and off the grid. Got to text that to me.
And I want to, I'm going to hopefully have an opportunity in that same seminar or round to remind people about the commercial, because that's all part of social media.
Mm-hmm.
People think social media is intimidating, and for a lot of people it can be, but it also can be very simplified. And I'm looking forward to participating in that Saturday. Yes, you have the grid, I think, but I'm thinking 11 o'clock, I believe, was the time I saw. I could be off.
It is 11 o'clock. And there's also a couple of other things that they're calling them idea exchanges. And I am loving this concept where you can go into a room at 9:15 and there's an idea exchange about service. So people brainstorming different service projects. We're talking about the service projects that they have. There's one that's about membership, and then another one that's about general club operations. So we had Genius bars in the past where you could go to an expert. And so this is melded into this idea exchange where you go into a room and you talk about specific topics, because more than one person may have the same question. And so that's a very exciting introduction to the process. And then that's when at 9:15 on Saturday is when John Brummer is presenting on stroke awareness. And he is with a very esteemed group of people because we've got past Governor Rocky Barsotti and Derek Lubnick. And we're talking about three different serious age groups who've all experienced severe stroke, who have done a lot of homework and research so that others can be aware of what's going on. One of the things that I've discovered in our group, even amongst my lieutenant governors, we've had 2 lieutenant governors have strokes this year. It's one of those things when you're an overachiever, you don't always listen to your body, and the people around you don't know what's going on because they're so used to seeing you just go at 90 million miles an hour. And so sometimes it's too late to catch the symptoms and get help. And so I'm excited that John, Rocky, and Derek and a couple other people might be there to help them with their program. And we also have a number of other different things. And there's one about public speaking and sharing your story. And there'll be individual workshops all along the way. So that is the seminar grid in a nutshell of some of the highlights. Some of the other ones are they're standard sessions that your club may need. You have brand new members. Know that those sessions are also happening. So it's not just all the cutting edge stuff, but it's also there's things that a brand new member or a new member into a new role needs to know about, which is very exciting.
The seminar, can you repeat the description of the seminar you just talked about public speaking or how to, can you read that again for me?
So it's public speaking and sharing your story.
Gotcha.
And that, it's like my friend Governor Alma out in the Southwest District, that was her whole theme, is about sharing your story. And she did storytelling Tuesdays where everybody would call in and Zoom in and talk about why they're Kiwanian or what was that meaningful moment that made it not just something that you're a part of or that you pay dues to, but something that you belong to.
Right.
And are part of the family for. And
I love that idea.
Yeah. And so Rocky and Patty Barsotti will be talking about that. And I think, sharing your story is a very beautiful thing. And if I had a second year of being governor, I think that would be something that I would highlight every single week is someone else sharing their story, pre-recorded, but just knowing that we each have a different story out there.
Well, I think for me, over Friday and Saturday, I'm going to try my best, whether within seminars or certainly while I'm walking around. I'm going to have my cell phone with me, and I may just do some spot-on video interviews that perhaps over the course of time of the shows, even as part of a recap or something, we'll air a couple of those snippets. So if you're watching right now, don't be surprised if I sneak up behind you and I start talking to you about your experience at convention. So just know that's another tease that could happen along with how you feeling. So there you go. There's another one. All right, real quickly, we're going to go to break. I do have this question, though, as we go to break. You can ponder and answer, Val, before while we're on break. You said the international president's name was Burt West. Is that correct?
It is.
Is that a combination of Burt Ward and Adam West? That's what I want to know. Tom was shaking his head before I even asked my question. Anyway.
He saw it coming.
I'm sorry. Anyway, you're watching Kiwanis Connects. We'll be right back.
Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.org.
And welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. That is right. We're coming around the clubhouse turn. Our good friend Jennifer out in Hawaii is joining us here. I'm just in the process of asking her questions. She is a kindergarten teacher out on the island. And of course, for those who do not know, at least here in our state, teachers reported this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Kids report on Monday. And so I'm always curious to hear how other teachers are ready and prepared for the new school year. So hopefully Jenna will have a moment or two to ask that or answer that for us. So I'm going to turn the tables here for a moment on you before we go to Val's travels, which we know where that's culminating next week. What are you most looking forward to during this convention?
Oh man, my
It's a
love
loaded
language.
question, I know, but
Yeah, my love language is touch, and so there are 5 love languages, and so touch and service, that's me, and so being able to hug as much as humanly possible and make that personal connection with so many amazing fellow Kiwanians, including yourself, that's my jam. But I am very sad, and so I didn't realize I was going to get emotional and all choked up about this, but I'm giving away the gavel really reluctantly. It's almost like going to have to wrestle with Carol as I pass it forward because I've had such a great year.
right.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing where she wants to go and what her passions are. And I want to support her to the nines, but to also know that I am relishing and enjoying every single day of this year.
Well, and I'm not surprised. I mean, my 2 terms as lieutenant governor, one in Jersey and then one out here with Mark McDonald when he was governor. I think you all kind of get melancholy a little bit. I mean, what did you say? You have 58 days left. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you start, part of your brain is starting to wind down because you're coming close to turning the gavel over. But yet at the same token, the other side of your brain is like, wait a minute, I got 58 more days. I got a lot more stuff to do here. Let's keep cranking. And I think it's only normal to kind of have that feeling of not feeling like you're ready to move on to the next step of being promoted to immediate past governor. You're still going to be involved. I mean, you're part, right? I mean, you're part of the incoming governor's board, more or less, or advisors. So, you're still going to be on there. But I'm not surprised to hear that. You've worked very hard this year. Just people who tune in every Friday to hear where the hell you're traveling, somebody ought to donate a fleet of cars and an airplane, for crying out loud. And a chauffeur. Are you applying for the job, John?
Yeah.
Driving Miss Val?
Yeah.
I'm sure Andy would appreciate that every once in a while. But, but yet at the same token, even though the convention is next week, where technically, you're being promoted and Carol's being promoted, you still have 6 weeks left even after that. And
absolutely
trying to balance that emotional side of, all right, I'm wrapping down, I'm kind of sad about it too. Wait a minute, I still got to keep my foot on the gas pedal. I can only imagine how many more clubs are already in the process of being developed to be a full club come September 30th, et cetera. And I know you're going to have your foot to the metal and just really just blow the rest of this year out as you're like, oh, you mean I'm almost there through the tunnel and I can start resting soon? Yeah, that's all right. It's a mixed bag of emotion.
Yeah, and it is truly like a relay. And so when you're in the last leg of a relay, you don't slow down when you see the end cord.
Right.
You're always trained by your coaches that you run through it and that you should slow down on the next curve.
Right.
And so while the other person is speeding up, you're almost neck and neck with them until they move forward.
Exactly.
And so that's what we're doing. We are actually on track of opening a club every week and all the way through October 15th. So that is 11 clubs that are on docket to come to new communities, including we just started a new one out in Indio that we're going to be doing our charter with, and we're very excited about that. And Vacaville, which was added to our calendar because kids need Kiwanis, and this is the perfect time to start it as a brand new year for Kiwanis. It's also a brand new time of energy at schools. And I want to say Happy New Year to every teacher that's out there. as you're decorating your classrooms, if you don't have kiddos already in your classrooms, congratulations on hopefully a very successful, restful summer. And I'm excited that you were energized in those classrooms with their kids. They need you.
Right on. Well said. And Jennifer starts with her kiddos next Tuesday. So here in our town, Monday, she starts Tuesday. So I want to just mention this. You said something that the kiddos need Kiwanis, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're just talking. Guess what? Kiwanis needs the kiddos. Okay.
Absolutely.
It's hand in hand, folks. It's not just, yeah, they need us to sponsor clubs, but you know what? We need them as well, because for a lot of clubs, the SOP programs help keep Kiwanis clubs young, if you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So it really is a two-way street. It's not just the kids needing us, but we need them as well. All right. With that, we have just under 10 minutes left here. So you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Not quite yet, because we didn't talk about our special guest.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, not quite yet.
All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like most people don't realize that International President Burt West started his Kiwanis career in CNH.
Okay.
And so he and I talked a long time ago, and he said he wanted to end his term as president in our district.
Oh, wow.
And so I am so thrilled that International President Burt West, who's part of the Division 18 Kiwanis clubs. His grandfather was there and got past governor, and he'll share those stories. And his father is going to be a part of our program, and he is going to be in Sparks the whole time. And this is also his hurrah, where we get to thank him for all of his Kiwanis service, because as he's retiring out and being immediate past international president and all the service that he's done. And we also have that new leaf on our family tree, and that's international trustee Gary Graham will be there, and he's going to be our international trustee for the upcoming year. And so normally we only get one big cheese, and this year we get two. So I just wanted to make sure that people know that this is going to be a fun time. We've got a golf tournament. We've got a scenic, actually not scenic, it's a rigorous bike ride that's happening.
I will miss, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've been told I'm not healthy enough to do the bike ride.
Oh.
And I was like, okay.
So you'll join me in the gym then when I get there?
No, I'm going to go on the art tour and look at all the Burning Man art and everything.
Gotcha.
Because I'm thinking, if someone is already telling me that this is going to be rigorous for all you competitive folks out there, it's probably also going to be rigorous in that gym. I can't afford to get damaged.
Yeah, that's well, I would be there to guide you and protect you, Val.
Oh,
so
thank you.
I mean, those days like next Thursday, working out and then just relaxing is always part of my own pre-show rituals to get ready for Thursday night. So, all right, I didn't know you were going to talk about them, so I apologize. I did not mean to cut you off introducing them. So, there's one other keynote speaker, is there not? You have somebody else speaking at one of the
I do. And that is the Interclub Luncheon on Saturday. And for a lot of you were very excited about Little Iguana. And Little Iguana is going to talk about their 28 safety programs. And they are actually sponsoring our goodie bags for our convention. So everybody's going to get a goodie bag that has a number of things from them. And even a special surprise from See's Candy. Even though See's Candy won't be present, they're actually going to be sponsoring us as well. People are so excited about this convention. And and I'm excited that I'm going to get to see you. And so I wanted to do a shout out to Jennifer before she leaves. Jennifer, I'm going to be in Hawaii the week after. And so I hope that we can connect.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So hopefully she heard that. She heard your message before she's signing off. But are you guys connected on Facebook? Did you connect with her at all on Facebook?
I did.
All right.
So
well, good old Messenger is always a good backup. So
yes, I'll follow up.
She just replied. She said, excellent. So she did hear that. So, all right. We're down to about 5 minutes left. So we're ready for a quick drive in the Valmobile. All right, let's do it.
and the car looks like that and more. Today I put in 575 packs of Grizzly nuts because the
Wow.
Grizzly Nut Company from out here in Turlock is sponsoring part of our decon next week. And so they're doing a big, huge giveaway. And so the boxes are already piling up for next week's travel. Yeah. So today I head back to the Monterey coast because I'm doing a special talk with some key clubbers in the Monterey Peninsula area and this afternoon. And tomorrow I'll be heading down to a lovely Southern California and dealing with our Kiwanis Literacy Club Foundation as we get prepared to sponsor a book giveaway at our decon next week. And that book giveaway will be at the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion booth. So if you want a DEI library and you want to win one of those, come by the DEI box because I'm going to go pick out 25 of the most amazing DEI books for you that you can take back to your organization. On top of that, I'll be going to Pasadena and Whittier. I actually get to do a family event. My nephew, who I never thought this would happen to, is going to be getting married in September. So I am going to be at a bridal shower. And that's going to take me through to next week. I head to Sparks, Reno on Wednesday. So if anybody is around, come hang out with me. But we are going to spend the whole end of the week, Wednesday to Sunday, having fun, fellowship, and celebrating this amazing year, celebrating our lieutenant governors, and filling our world with hugs. Hugs, 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 and more hugs.
It's a good thing you don't need a license to hug. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm just looking forward to getting back in the same room with you as well and meeting everybody up there at convention. I don't want people to be shy. Come up, say hello. If you see me wandering around looking lost, like I'm looking for food, it's okay. Just, make sure everything is good. All right. We have a couple of minutes left. I know you're a little melancholy, like we talked about, the kind of split feeling. So you know what I have ready for you, right?
Oh, no!
I have a couple for you. This will carry you through. It'll kill John, but I'm more concerned about keeping you smiling. All right, so here's joke number one. Why can't noses be longer than 12 inches? Because they'd be a foot. Come on now, work with me, audience. Work with me here.
Okay.
Did you hear about the chameleon that couldn't change colors? It had reptile dysfunction.
Is there a pill for that?
I would say blue, but it keeps changing colors.
Turn to blue.
Oh, my goodness. Did you hear about the guy who wanted to be a gold prospector?
He wanted to dig?
He wanted... Not bad. It didn't pan out. Here you go. Last one. This is no offense to this industry, but what kind of award do you give dentists of the year? A little plaque. There you go. It's okay, Val. You can let it out. As my gift to John and convention, I won't bring the list of jokes. I'll
Thank you
save
so
every
much.
minute for all our guests.
I know, because if they get you in person, they'll stone you.
I know. Anyway, all right, great show. Sorry, a couple there in the bank. I only have 1,000 more to go, so I have plenty to give us ammo. All right, Governor Val, great show, highlighting everything next week. If you're not jazzed, folks, about being at a convention next week, then you need to go back and rewatch this show as soon as we sign off right here on Facebook. You can go back on YouTube. If you like Roku, wait a couple of days. It'll be up there as well. Thank you, Herman. Herman just...
Yeah.
I know it's a delay of the
My
internet.
respect for Herman just went down.
Wait, for all I know, Herman's going to give me a new list of jokes next week.
Yeah.
With that, Governor Val, final thoughts as we say goodbye for the week.
Make every day count in your life. You never know when your last breath and your last touch is going to be. So make every time count. This week, and I keep saying, but this week we lost a very special young man who's 27 years old and a very popular past Circle K member, James. And I never thought that I would have to say goodbye to James. And so that is my reminder, and to remind all of you, I can't wait to see you, and don't wait to do good things.
There you go. Thoughts and prayers go out to the family from all of us here at Kiwanis Connects. Just a quick friendly reminder, next week's Kiwanis Connects, don't look for us at 9 a.m. Look for us at 10 a.m. And if you're up at convention, just listen to the sound of our voices at 10 a.m. I have no idea where we're going to do the show, but wherever it is, we got to make sure we have a good, strong internet connection, Val. All right?
Absolutely.
There you go. All right. With that, everybody, please, as a reminder, join me tomorrow in Aaron's Hour from 12 to 1. Why? Because Justin is going to be on with me, as well as a young man, my protege, Riley, because we're going to talk about with him what it's like to get ready for a new school year from a student's perspective. Thank you for watching, everybody. As always, be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have, like it or not. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week up in Reno.